Shout out to J&J.
So I just want to send a shout out to J&J Sports for having me once again.
Episodes, man. You guys got a real good thing going on.
All right, so recently, this happened on Christmas Eve of 2024.
Yeah.
Some Bigfoot searchers actually died from freezing temperatures. And, before we get started, I looked into this, and the Bigfoot community actually believes that Bigfoot hunting is a sport, and that it's considered a sport. So, just to start us off, do you think that Bigfoot hunting could be considered a sport?
Bigfoot hunting. I never thought of it as a sport, but I mean, it could be. Trying to find Bigfoot, going through certain, yeah. It's,
I feel like hiking is a sport. So maybe
Yeah.
I guess if you're hiking as you're looking for Bigfoot, they can kind of put those.
yeah, because you're moving, you're running, you're trying to see. It's definitely a sport. You're working out, so.
I had read in a recent BBC article that was discussing this, and it was two men searching for Bigfoot on Christmas Eve, and they actually got found dead from exposure. And the Skamania County Sheriff's Office let out a news release, and they said both deaths appear to be due to exposure based on weather conditions and ill preparedness. So, like other sports, maybe there's a season that works best for this. But, which one?
Definitely not in the cold. Cause we think of Bigfoot. Well, how I always thought of Bigfoot, big brown monster. You know what I mean? That's something that a summer or spring hunting thing should have been. You know what I mean? You in the winter is like Bigfoot not out there in the cold. He probably somewhere chilling. So, nah, it's just the weather for sure.
Yeah, this happened in the Portland area, and I know the weather out there can get really bad during the winter.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so after finding their cars, the sheriff decided to utilize drones and also a Coast Guard helicopter team. And we don't know the people's names, but they were 59 and 37 years old, and I think they were family members.
Yeah.
I know they were reported missing around 1 a.m. on Christmas Day, so maybe their family was just waiting for them, and they never showed back up.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, our prayers definitely go out to their family and friends. And, I thought that this was kind of interesting that the Bigfoot community considers this to be a sport. And this almost kind of has me wondering, do you think anyone is ever going to find one?
I don't know. You know what I mean? They definitely gonna learn from what they did, and it's gonna be some more hunters probably looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for me, I'm kind of like the X-Files of where I want to believe that there is Bigfoot out there. I mean, that'd be pretty cool that, if there's all sorts of, like, creatures that we don't know about.
Exactly, yeah.
But it definitely is probably more fun for, like, horror movies and sci-fi and things like that.
Right, exactly.
So they were in the Cascade Mountains, and the weather was all winter. So, snow, temperatures well below freezing.
Yeah.
And the search had to deal with things like high water levels from the lakes and rivers, and also they had to navigate the fallen timber.
Yeah.
Do you think an event like this is going to stop Bigfoot hunters, or it's going to make more?
It's kind of in the middle. I feel like a lot of people will probably hold back just hearing that, they passed away, this and this and that. A lot of people have different visions, like, oh, maybe Bigfoot, something happened, or this and that. But no, it's gonna be some people that's die hard, like, nah, they sacrificed their life, so I'm gonna go out there too.
Well, yeah, and they had mentioned ill preparedness as one of the reasons. So, maybe if they had like proper winter clothing, maybe even let people know their location.
Did they show what they were wearing, or was it just?
For them to say ill preparedness and them finding the vehicle, it sounds like they were just hanging out on Christmas Eve and said, "Hey, let's go out and hunt for Bigfoot."
Okay, yeah.
Because if they were prepared, if they had all the proper stuff, and also let people know where they were going, or had one of those search and rescue type of beacons,
exactly,
we're not having this conversation.
Right, exactly, yep.
And I actually, as I was researching this, I was curious about ghost hunting, and it is not a sport like Bigfoot hunting is, or it's not considered to be a sport. Although they do suffer from some of the similar kinds of injuries.
Things, yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah. So you have things like injury and death. So a teenager got seriously injured from a homeowner after stepping onto the what was considered to be a haunted house in Worthington, Ohio.
Mm.
So, that's an example of somebody just trying to protect themselves
Right.
and someone going into an area that really they shouldn't have been in.
Right.
And then, another woman had actually died falling from a building at the University of Toronto while ghost hunting.
Wow.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. I mean, you don't really think about ghost hunters getting hurt.
Right, or anything like that. But I mean, a lot of spirits and stuff move, so you lose your mind in there for sure. If you're in a haunted house or somewhere where you can't get out or something like that.
Yeah, that kind of goes into the next point. Is another thing that ghost hunters suffer from is they say harm from ghosts or spirits. So demonic possession.
Right.
People believe that demonic possession is becoming more common, and they also believe that a person who's possessed can cause harm or injury to others.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a whole other thing to worry about.
Yeah, it is.
Would you be more worried about injury from the people or the ghosts?
I would say the ghost, because I think the spirit stays with you for a minute, even when you leave. A person, you can always protect yourself from a person. But a spirit, that's a hard thing to do.
I completely agree with you. I'd much rather get punched by a person than a ghost.
Than a
So
ghost or anything.
that would just be
right.
too much.
And it's like they stay with you, and it's like it's hard to get that out of you. You got to go through some type of ritual or something like that. So.
And we don't know all that much about things like this.
Right.
So it's, people don't really know what they're always tampering with.
Yeah.
Legal issues is another thing that ghost hunters will deal with. There were 3 ghost hunters in Salem, Massachusetts that actually ended up getting arrested for trespassing on private property.
Yeah.
So do you think that ghost hunting may also be considered a sport too? Will the definition ever change?
I would say a sport. I would just say risky activity. I would label it under that. But people gonna keep trying. They're gonna keep trying. They don't, there's ways around it. They're gonna work around it. But yeah, they knew that, going on private property. They already knew the risk of that. What would happen? So.
Yeah, and to try to connect this to sports even more, the Seattle Supersonics used to be an NBA team, and this was before they moved to Oklahoma City and became the Thunder. And they had Squatch, and he was their Sasquatch mascot from 1993 to 2008 when the Sonics became the Thunder.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting too. Another thing about this. Chris Ballou from the rock group, the Presidents of the United States of America, actually wrote a song about the mascot. So he's in popular culture.
Yeah.
And he had attempted a world record jump of 30 feet wearing rollerblades. And this was over the NBA players Ray Allen and Robert Swift's loaned out cars for the attempt.
Wow.
So do you think Allen and Swift trusted Squatch not to damage their cars?
Yeah, they had to. I mean, because I probably wouldn't do it. But yeah, definitely, they probably had some trust there.
Yeah, I mean, I bet they had some fun with that.
Yeah.
And another mascot, the Edmonton Rush Lacrosse Club's Yeti mascot's named Slush. And there's a fun online bio saying that him and Squatch were raised together out in the Cascade Mountains.
Wow.
Squatch was actually there during Slush's very first game, and he was there to kind of train him in the ways of being a pro sports mascot.
Okay.
So regarding mascots, do you think we should see more of this?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because we don't know who's in those suits, and then we find out, and then it's a whole story behind it. Like, how do you get into a mascot position? How do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
And I was kind of wondering if they were going to keep the same guy who played as Squatch, and they did. So from 1998 to 2008, Mark Taylor actually followed the NBA team, and he currently still is performing with Oklahoma City as the mascot Rumble the Bison.
Nice.
So the Bison is also an American icon. Do you think maybe they should have just stuck with the Bigfoot instead?
Yeah, I do. I think so.
I agree. He was a lot of fun as a mascot. He was also almost kind of similar to the Phoenix Suns gorilla because he was able to play basketball and he had that
jump
movement.
And all this. Yeah.
And so to end this off, why do you think Bigfoot hunting is a sport and not ghost hunting?
I think it's more of a sport because, like I said, hiking is like you said, hiking. It's more of a everyday thing. It's like a sport. You know what I mean? Like you gotta move, you gotta really get into it. And I think ghost hunting is kind of like it's like an activity. It's like a fun, Halloween. That's what I kind of think about it. Yeah, but that can get, serious. But nah, I think it's more of those. They're in two different areas.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the location. Like you can't really look for Bigfoot in a old haunted house. And
exactly.
You can't really look for ghosts out on the mountain.
In the mountain, exactly. Yep. So
y'all, please let us know what you think about that. And have y'all ever been ghost hunting or Bigfoot hunting?
Or would you ever go ghost hunting?
And then up next,